Okay, so today I'm going to be demonstrating a method of making a really useful tinder called charcloth. It's been around for a very long time. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but for people who are living in circumstances like I am, where I'm currently living in a city and I get to go out into the outdoors when I can, it can be more useful to make stuff in your home. And the way I make charcloth is actually on a barbecue. So it's meant to go, it was originally meant to go with a flint and steel striker. I don't know whether you can see the sparks off that, but basically what you do is you need, well, other than a barbecue, you need 4 things. You need some aluminium foil, 2 sheets of it, about the same size, a pair of scissors to cut up your cloth, some cotton, like 100% cotton, it has to be 100% cotton, otherwise it won't work, and a stick with a point on the end of it. And I'll show you what that's for in a minute. So basically, what you need to do is make a bag out of the aluminium foil. So just fold up the ends. Doesn't matter which end you start on, just so long as they get folded. And this one's slightly larger. They don't need to be perfect, perfectly the same size as each other either. Don't need to worry about that because you're going to be folding it over anyway, so you can sort of modify the size as you go. Just be careful not to tear the foil like I just did then. That's not going to help you out much. It just means you have to fold it again, or I'll have to fold it again at least. Which is not too much of a problem, I suppose. Worse things have happened. Okay, so you end up with a bag that you can open up. And what you do is you take your cotton. I like to cut it into swatches about this big, and I'll just show you the difference between the normal cotton and the charcloth. So, normal cotton, charcloth. If I pull at the normal cotton, it's really difficult to tear it without a rip in there. With the charcloth, you can tell something's happened to it because it just sort of falls apart like paper, almost. So what we're going to do is very gently open this foil bag and chuck this cotton in there, and we can add more. I've already made a huge pile of this, so you can possibly see today. It's always useful to have it around, and it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So you make a big pile of it. Some of it's in store, it can be stored, and some of it can be taken with you. And if you use it, you don't have to bugger around making more for a while. And it's not a long process. I did all mine today, just in a couple of hours. Between doing other things, so cloth doesn't have to be perfectly square, and don't worry about little strings hanging off it or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. And what you do is fold the end over a couple of times, and that bag's probably about the right size. So you take this pointy stick, you can use other things, a pointy stick is just good though, and just poke a single hole right in the middle of the bag. Now, we'll take it out to the barbecue, and we'll show you what to do from there. Okay everybody, meet Wobbles. Wobbles is our barbecue. So, turn him on, and basically you want to use the perforated half of your barbecue, which is horribly rusty on this one. But anyway, come on Wobbles, don't let me down. There we go. What you want to do is you want to take the bag with the little hole in it here. You want that to be upwards. Chuck it on the barbecue, and then it's a waiting game. Okay, so as we go, the bag will start to expand. It takes a little while, so you know, no need to watch it too closely if it's on your barbecue. If you're doing it on an open fire, then you should be watching the open fire. But in this case, I don't think it really matters. So we'll bring you back when it's doing something a bit more interesting. Okay, so I suppose I should probably explain what's happening here. It's sort of starting to smoke. It'll take a little while, but you know, it's pretty cool out here. So, but basically, what we're doing is the same thing you'd be doing to make charcoal from timber, where when you're actually looking to get charcoal rather than just, you know, a fire. We're heating the cloth in a low oxygen environment, which means it's coaling rather than actually burning. So we're driving that smoke is actually all the volatile gases and crap coming out of it. So at the end of it, it'll be very fine. It'll take that spark very nicely. It's going to take a little while though, so we'll bring you back when it gets really interesting. Okay, so I've closed the lid on the thing to keep the heat in a bit more, and we'll just show you what it looks like now. You can probably see a fair bit of smoke starting to come out of that hole. That's all of the volatile gases and crap that don't need to be there for our charcloth burning off. And basically, what's going to happen is this bag will pillow out a bit. It depends on the size of the bag you make and how much cloth is in there. You don't want to put too much in. You don't want to fill the bag. You know, it'll pillow up a bit, and when the smoke stops, basically turn off your heat, leave it to cool down, and you should have charcloth at the end of it. So I have some charcloth here while that's making, so I can actually show you sort of how it works in my little fire lighting kit here. So we have a piece of stone with a hardness more than 7. You can use flint, you can use chert, you can use quartz, you can use bathtub ceramic, also works on occasions. I got 2 steels. I got both of them that I've made. I think for this one I will use the slightly more fancy one. Put that in there for a minute. And grab some tinder from in this bag. This is cat towel fluff. Doesn't happen where I actually live, or where I usually do my outdoor stuff, but where I'm living there's a sort of big pond nearby that has heaps of this shit on it, so you know, if you like doing the sort of more traditional stuff, grab resources while you can, basically. Our ancestors would have, why won't we? So, I'm not actually allowed to light a fire, but I'll show you how this stuff works a bit anyway. It's kind of fire season here, and we are in the city, so they tend to take umbrage with it if you actually try and start a fire. And for anybody who lives in Australia and you know, was around in 2003 in the ACT or the Snowy Mountains, or the Blue Mountains for that matter, will probably understand why. Now basically what we've done is landed a spark onto this stuff, and you can see it sort of smouldering away gently to itself now. So what we do is we grab a ball of fluff, drop that into it, fold it over, and then blow. And we have fire. So this stuff is really useful to have if you keep it dry, because it can also, I mean, it can help you light fires with a ferro rod as well. You can throw ferro rod sparks at charcloth and get an ember if you need it. You can also use, if you've got a rock with a hardness of more than 7 in Australia, finding quartz is piss easy. You know, basalt is also a good one. Well, yeah, like I said, quartz and basalt, they're both pretty easy to find in Australia. Chert, flint, anything like that. Anything with a hardness over 7. If you use charcloth and a high carbon steel knife, It's a good high carbon steel knife. You can actually strike sparks off the back of that knife and use it in case you lose, you know, all your other fire lighting tools, which should never happen, ever. But, you know, basically it's really good stuff. It's not hard to make. It's useful. It weighs absolutely bugger all. I mean, I've got a big pile of it in this bag. I'd usually store it in something a bit more waterproof than a leather bag, but this is just sort of my traditional fire lighting kit, which I sometimes like to carry when there's not going to be any rain. Well, I hope this has been enjoyable and informative for you. I'll catch you on the next one.